Okay, here we go, Kinesiology 231, and this is a review and a rundown of the case study number 4, that is Mrs. Rodriguez. 63-year-old, 5'6", 163 pounds, housewife, complains of shortness of breath and daily chores, smoked heavily but stopped, etc., etc., etc. So if I were to take this and break it on out, here's how I would look at it. She's 63, so she's over 55. That's a positive. No family history. Smoked heavily but stopped. So she's outside of the window of opportunity to count it as a risk factor. And so to that end, it's a non-risk factor. So you may have mistakenly put down that she smoked. While you do have some concerns in terms of working with her, it's not going to be a risk factor. She does not participate in physical activity other than house chores. That's a positive risk factor. She does not present with a positive risk factor relative to BMI, but she does present with a positive risk factor relative to her waist circumference. So this also would be a positive risk factor. Presently, because this is an either or, presently her blood pressure is 140/86, so she's over the 130/80, so that's a positive risk factor. And she's taking medication to control her cholesterol. That's also a positive risk factor, because without that medication, she would have elevated cholesterol levels. So the contributing data to this, which you haven't really seen in the other assignments, is she's a housewife and complains of shortness of breath while performing her daily chores. So shortness of breath is a sign or symptom. Then the client complains of swelling around the ankles at the end of a day. That's a sign and symptom that edema is, in fact, its own sign and symptom. No negative risk factors. She's below 60, and these are kind of non-contributing data. So if we scroll it down, I broke it out, etc. You can read through this and get an idea of what we're saying here in terms of being a positive risk factor or not. And to that end, I'll let you go ahead and kind of compare and contrast this in the book. But what I want to get at down here a little bit further is in their little algorithm. So with this person, does Ms. Rodriguez participate in regular exercise? That's a no, so that puts her over in this left-hand side. Now, she shows signs and symptoms suggestive of cardiovascular disease and also perhaps renal, but she's showing edema as well as shortness of breath. So to that end, we have to go ahead and look the next step and go medical clearance is recommended. And then following that, she can do light to moderate intensity exercise. And per the ACSM guidelines, she would in fact need medical clearance yet again to progress to vigorous exercise. So she can work out, but again, you have to get a doctor's recommendation on that. All right, guys, hope that helped. Look for your grades shortly. Thanks, bye.